What's up, guys? Welcome back to the DadBod Squad. My name's Brent, and before you sits two of the nicest and most expensive rifles on the market, the LWRC IC-A5 and the Knight Armament SR-15. Between them, as currently configured, almost $6,700. What in the world could justify that kind of price? Today we're going to find out by doing a deep dive into each of these two rifles, and at the end, in the comments below, put your choice for which one, like your mom's corner on Friday night, takes home the title of best of the best. Let's do it. Up first, the high-end rifle that really got me into high-end rifles, the LWRC IC-A5, chambered in 5.56. Beautiful coyote brown kind of FDE Cerakote on here is just stunning. I mean, it really is, for lack of a better term. 16-inch cold hammer forged nitrided barrel with this beautiful spiral fluting that not only looks amazing, but also acts as a heat sink because each of these little spirals gives you additional surface area from which heat can escape. So not only functional, but also beautiful too. Short stroke piston operating system with adjustable gas block on here for suppression. You can see one of the coolest upper receivers that I have seen. You can see it unscrews and then the upper part of the upper receiver simply falls away to expose the short stroke piston operating system here within. The piston system on this is somehow still, by some means of voodoo magic, one of the softest shooting rifles that I own, and which is strange because usually if there's a reciprocating mass, and with a short stroke piston operating system, you do have a reciprocating mass by way of this rod that is pushing against the bolt carrier group, and whenever that moves, that causes a rocking motion, and you would think that that would somehow make this a little bit more harsh shooting, but I don't know, it really doesn't. Maybe the weight of the rifle helps offset that, and this is not a light rifle, so that is a possibility. You can see here that screw system does lock that upper part of the handguard in place there, giving you the ability to ensure that your backup iron sights are going to hold zero. Got a bunch of lightning cuts here all along the top, including here at the front, allowing for a lot of the gases from that short stroke piston operating system to escape. The only downside to this rail is it is proprietary, meaning all of the stuff you see here, rail scales, hand stop, QD cup, all of that, even the Picatinny mount here, all has to be ordered from LWRC, and because of that, they ain't going cheap. So every bit of that costs way more than it should if you bought it from Magpul. And their DI rifle, their $1,500 DI rifle. Now keep in mind, this one costs almost $3,000 whenever you add in the additional Cerakote and everything else, does not come with any of the stuff that you see here. So you got to shell out close to a little over another $100 for everything up top, which is odd because you would think that the higher end rifle would come with it and the lower end one doesn't. But I guess if they think you got the money to be able to afford the higher end one, then they can bilk you for another couple hundred extra bucks. Thanks, LWRC. 7075 T6 aluminum upper and lower. On here you can see your upper is mono forged, giving you a nice extension all the way out to here, and that gives you a lot more accuracy because it does help to keep the upper a little more rigid. So great design there, plus it just looks really cool. A lot of them have that handguard tie-in down here that just looks kind of messy and disheveled. Theirs is super smooth and clean. All you got is 4 little screws there, excuse me, 6, 8, 10 little screws there, all the way around to make sure that this is held firmly in place. Ambidextrous lower on here, mag release, bolt catch on this side. Safety selector is ambi. All the good stuff on the other side as well. LWRC Furniture is actually pretty nice, a little wobbly on the stock, but the cool part to me is that it is nice and compact. It's about 4 inches from top to bottom of your stack here. Your wife could tell you a little bit about that. The reason that they do that is because it is a little bit easier in terms of, sorry about the wife comment, I don't know where that came from. I'm in a mood today. The reason that that is compact is because it is able to be utilized a lot easier with body armor, with plate carriers and things of such, because those straps do tend to get in the way, and if you have a larger stock, then it just makes it a lot more cumbersome and hard to utilize with body armor. Their grip is awesome, great. It's a nice rubberized texture along the sides, and then they give you something that others don't. Their insert here comes with a spot for a CR123A battery, which I am devoid of, and their front sight adjustment post tool. You can even keep a little Allen key in there too to help adjust any of your dots or things like that. And I don't think any other company gives you that. I know B5 Systems does have an insert that you can put into theirs that you can buy, but it sure doesn't come with it. And at least the LWRC one comes with something, am I right? Speaking of comes with stuff, the nicest, well, the second nicest backup iron sights that I have seen on a gun come standard with this one. They are all metal, super rigid, and they kind of have an open front sight post there at the front. And their rear sight is really cool and innovative too. I'm not sure if I can show you the right angle here, but to adjust between their smaller hole and their big one, all you gotta do is lift up and turn. And that gives you the ability to go from precise to more of a long distance shot just by swiveling it around. Pretty cool idea. Ambidextrous charging handle on there was nice enough, didn't seem to need to change it out. And the thing I did change out was the trigger, because it's a polished nickel mil-spec trigger from LWRC. Nice enough, but not the greatest, and it was replaced with a Geisley SD3G trigger. Single stage, 3.5 pounds, no take up at all. Just clean and crisp. You know exactly when that trigger is going to go. There's a reason that Geisley is the best. Fit and finish on this, like I said, second to none. Quality control was great. Their customer service has been nothing but fantastic anytime I've ever had to deal with them, and it's only been a couple of times. The bolt in here is a nickel boron persuasion, and we're going to do a breakdown of both bolts side by side so you can see in a little bit, but I think that the LWRC has some really neat innovations, but not enough to keep up with the Knights in my mind. Overall, the total cost of this one was, after taxes and whatnot, around $3,000, call it $3,200. Got a Geisley trigger I put in there for $200, so we're about $3,400 into that rifle, and then that's not even including all of the rail scales and stuff up top. So call it $35 all told. Is it worth it? I think so, because that rifle is going to last forever. You can suppress it with no problems via the adjustable gas block. The Cerakote will hold up to the most brutal of conditions. The weight of it does help keep it nice and soft shooting, and all in all makes it one of the nicest rifles on the market. But the one that we're going to compare it against might actually beat it. Let's check it out. Up next, the king of the mountain. The Knight Armament SR-15, chambered in 5.56. Beautiful taupe color here. I believe they used DuraCoat on theirs instead of Cerakote, and you'll see the downsides of that here momentarily. For now, let's just talk about the positives. 16-inch cold hammer forged chrome lined barrel is one of the best in the business. 3-prong flash hider with the telltale Knight Armament bump there for installing any of your Knight Armament suppressors. If you're not using a Knight suppressor, you're gonna have to switch that out. 15-inch M-lock handguard on here. Their Mod 2 setup. DI operating system, and they have a really innovative part of theirs too. I'm not sure if you can see it, but they actually have a castle nut that they screw down onto the front of their gas block to ensure that that gas block can't wiggle itself free, because on DI operating systems, that's the weak point. So Knight Armament, being the innovative company that they are, came up with a really great system to ensure that that didn't become an issue. You can see here, M-lock slots all the way around this. Actually came with these little Magpul rail scales here, which is nice. Picatinny rail all the way across the top with the best of the best in backup iron sights. The Knight Armament sights, if you were to buy those by themselves, I think they're $300 if you can find them. And they're probably not going to be that, because people know what they got whenever they got those, and they sure don't come off of them cheap. But if you can get your hands on them, they'll be some of the best backup iron sights you've ever had. That Mod 2 upper is really amazing. An absolute tack driver, and one of the softest shooting guns. We'll get into that in a minute as well. 7075 T6 aluminum upper and lower on this one too, because that is the best of the best. Fully ambi lower here, so bolt catch and release, mag release, and it's a really nice system here. A lot of them have kind of overdo it on the mag release. This one has a nice cage around there on the side, so you're not going to accidentally disengage it. And the bolt catch and release up here at the top is just pretty standard. Ambi safety selector on here, and on the other side we have the normal setup, your mag release there with your cage on it, a nice bolt catch and release here as well, and then the ambidextrous safety selector on here is also scalloped. So whenever you're going to shoot, if you're a righty, or a lefty too, but mainly if you're a righty, that scallop gives you the ability to have your finger in there without having to worry about it being pushed out by that safety selector. So really innovative aspect of what they've done on this rifle as well. The thing I didn't like about the Knights is they came with the just crap tier bottom basement Magpul furniture. I'm talking about the Magpul that you all get on the cheap rifles that has the hole in the bottom with nothing else. That's what came on this originally. Actually, here, I'm going to show you. Give me just a second. So in terms of furniture for this $3,200 base price rifle, this is the grip that you get with it. Now, this is the Magpul, I think it's just their standard Magpul grip. It's not even their MOE series. As you can see there, no storage compartment in the bottom. It's just a straight hole. The stock that came with it is just their standard old Magpul stock. Again, like, you got to be kidding me. Comes with a $3,200 rifle comes with this. And to be further infuriating, this is the charging handle that comes with it. Single latch. Now, it is an extended latch, so, kudos to Knights on that. But to further prove that Knights don't give a shit about you, they give you this as a charging handle. Because, again, they know that their chances are good that if you can afford the rifle, you can afford to switch out the cheap furniture and they can make more money. I get it. Most of their stuff comes from government contracts, and if they slip out a gun to the regular public, be thankful for it is kind of their mantra. But regardless, I mean, for an extra $100, they could have made a lot nicer rifle from a furniture standpoint. Instead, it had to be replaced with a Magpul K2 grip here, the nice rubberized edition. And I actually found an L&T SOP mod stock with the little battery compartments and everything too that just really kind of completed the look for me and really made this rifle into what I felt like it should be. In terms of quality goes, again, the parts quality is going to be nothing but the best with Knight Armament. Let's talk about their DuraCoat for a moment. You can see here the difference between the Cerakote and the DuraCoat is that the Cerakote has kind of a shinier sheen to it, whereas a DuraCoat has more of a matte finish. The DuraCoat should be called not DuraCoat because it's just not very durable. So like this rifle, I have had this for a few months now and I've shot it 3 times to this point. All it's done is just move back and forth to my safe, and you can see here the coating has just come off completely. They actually DuraCoated the barrel too, but they just decided to, I guess, not, or just do it with the flash hider on it, because you've got overspray onto the flash hider. On here, they literally just closed the dust cover here. Let me show you. And sprayed it like that. You can see here the spring was even done too. So whoever, and hold on, let me remove the magazine off camera here so that I don't get my head chopped off by YouTube. You can see here on the inside, no DuraCoat. It's like somebody just closed their eyes and while spanking it with one hand was DuraCoating with the other. I mean, you gotta be kidding me, guys. $3,200 rifle. And you can see here also where underneath the sight, where the sight sits, and it's not like it bumps up against it or anything whenever it lays down, but it does, kind of sit on it, I guess. Rubs off the DuraCoat. Up here at the top where the sight, the red dot sight has been sitting, DuraCoat's coming off. And just in little points along the way on the rifle, the DuraCoat's just kind of being worn away. Now, I understand, and people in the comments will go, that's a tool, you're not supposed to care about what it looks like, just camouflage that sucker with some spray paint, you're good to go. Well, cool. I get the point, but I have a YouTube channel where I show off high-end guns, and I'm not going to go that route. I still want this to be a tool and I will utilize it as such, but it should also, for the money that you pay, have the utmost highest quality in terms of craftsmanship, workmanship, and honestly, DuraCoat. I mean, they can do a better job than that. And I compare it because, like if you look on the inside of the LWRC, you can see Cerakoted all the way through. And so it's not like it's an impossible job to get a quality Cerakote on something. So kudos to Knights on the wonderful shooting experience that is delivered through this rifle, but shame on them for the DuraCoat. Now this was made during COVID, so maybe they were just in a hurry, but I mean, come on, like you got to do better than that, guys. Now let's talk about shooting experience. The nicest shooting gun that I have ever shot, by far. It is just the most flat shooting, super smooth. I mean, it barely feels like it's operating at all. The bolt cycling on it is perfect. It's not overgassed. It is just one of the nicest shooting experiences that I have ever had. And that to me, in and of itself, justifies the price on this. Now the price of this one, the upgrades that I did put a grip on there. It was like 40 bucks, I think. LMT SOP mod was around $100 for that guy because it was used. I got it. And Radiant Raptor charging handle on here, another 100 bucks. So I got about $230, $240 worth of additional upgrades in here. The rifle was $3,200, so that puts us at what, 34 and some change. But it is an awesome rifle, and the trigger that came with it, quite honestly, it spanks every other base trigger in a high-end rifle. That's not a Geisley. The Knight Armament 2-stage trigger is a match mil-spec trigger, which is strange. 2 stages, so you do hit a flat wall there at about 2.5 pounds, and then about 3 pounds later, so about 5 pounds total, just a clean, crisp, super smooth break. And that trigger helps add to the shooting experience as well. To me, now all you PSA guys are gonna go crazy because you're gonna say, I can build me a rifle for $1,000 that's gonna outdo those rifles, no problem. And maybe you can, that's great, but I don't know how to build, and that rifle is also probably 4140 steel in the barrel, and the parts quality is not gonna last as long. So in this world, you definitely get what you pay for. There is a law of diminishing returns, however, and once you get over that $2,200 price point, I find it kind of hard to believe that anything over and above that is going to be much better than the rest. These both, of course, are $1,000 over that. So how do you justify the price? Well, to me, everything that I've told you, and one more thing I'm going to show you now, they're bolts. Starting first with the LWRC Bolt here, you can see beautiful nickel boron coating on here. You can see the anti-tilt functionality they've built into the back, which is pretty necessary for your piston style rifles. The coolest part to me, though, is the gas key. The gas key is mono-forged, meaning that this bolt was made out of one piece of metal. There's no need for staking here, meaning that it cannot be improperly staked because it is made out of one piece of metal. The downside, though, is that if, for some reason, I've never seen it happen, but I've heard stories that it has, this gas key gets sheared off. I don't know how, but if it does, that bolt is garbage. It's gone, throw it in the trash, buy you another one. But this is one of the nicest and smoothest operating bolts that I have felt, and helps completely justify the price of that LWRC. The heart of the rifle is the barrel and the bolts, and this has a very strong beating heart. Let's check out the Knights 2 by comparison. Up next, the Knight Armament Bolt Carrier Group. Now, looking it over, doesn't seem to be anything that sets this apart. Looks like every other Palmetto State, or you name it, BCM's bolt, right? Couldn't be further from the truth. First off, it does have just a normal gas key. Does have a DI operating system, so your gas is going to flow through here to your key, pressurize the cam, which then pushes back on the bolt, cycles it back forward for you, and you're ready to roll again. So nothing special on that one per se, but where the cool parts come in is right here. So you turn this guy out. Now I've already removed the firing pin. Doing this on camera is not easy, but remove the bolt, and the magic comes to life, because you can see here, this is the coolest part to me. Dual extractor strings on here. Most of your bolts, actually I can show you better, hold on. So this is your standard LWRC bolt. You can see here, cam pin fits in here like so, right? The cool part about this is it has a tapered cam pin. You can see here kind of a taper to it, and that means that the hole through the cam pin is actually smaller. And if you can compare that to the cam pin on the LWRC, you can see that there's a lot less material on the sides of the LWRC, meaning that through prolonged usage, this one is more prone to break. This has a lot more material on the sides of the bolt, giving you the ability to ensure that a few years down the road, through hard usage, that is never going to become a failure point. So, ingenious idea to me. The crazy part to me on here is that this is the bolt from the LWRC, and it is a short stroke piston operating system one. So why, maybe you can answer this for me in the comments below, does it have the gas rings on there? Because I thought that a short stroke piston operating system didn't need gas rings, because there's no need to pressurize a chamber to help move the bolt backwards. So explain that to me, why they have the gas rings on here. Just seems like another failure point to me. But it's completely made up to me by the fact that it has the mono forged bolt at the top. The dual extractor springs on here to make sure that you don't have to worry about ever having any issues with this bolt, in conjunction with the cam pin. I mean, those innovations alone just completely push this to another level in my mind and help justify the cost. But that's just my opinion, guys. What are your thoughts? If you had $3,500 to spend and you could only buy one of these two rifles, which one you grabbing? Put your choice in the comments below. As always, thank you to my long-term viewers and subscribers. You are the heart of this channel, and you help make this possible every day for us. We're so thankful for you guys. To my first-time viewers and hopefully new subscribers, welcome to the DadBod Squad. Beers in the fridge. See you next time.